We're cutting in.
I know. I was like, ow. Was it that bad?
No, I was applauding you.
That's one of Adeline's favorite songs. It's a good song.
It is a good song.
Well,
Anyway.
brava. Brava.
Oh, thank you to
Emos.
someone on Discord suggested this subject, and I did some last minute researching and chose this one.
That's a good way to do it.
So thank you.
So thank you, Discord friend, from way back in November.
No, it was last night.
Not when this airs.
I'm smart.
SAR.
Thank you, Sar.
Oh,
SAR the first.
they're very active on our Discord page, and it makes me happy.
I just got a glance of that name. I get why you struggled.
Oh, can I see the name?
Yes.
So thank you, Sar the First. If you guys want to join us on Discord,
Undiscovered.
and see what sort of
What the hell was that?
duck a fuck.
And see what.
There's a link to the Discord in the link that I have on the social medias. Click it. There's a fancy menu there. It'll also take you to the iTunes Apple Podcasts page where you can rate the show and leave us a review to enter the giveaway.
Imo Alan Quivunen.
Something like that.
On that note,
Oh yeah.
Remember, friends, everyone has something that they find odd. Let us tell you why it's not.
if you have any questionable topics you'd like us to discuss, you can share them with us on any of our social medias. Links can be found on our website, theladiesofstrange.com, and pretty much any of our social medias. You can find a link to our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Discord to talk to us, or you can email your ideas to us at theladiesofstrange@gmail.com.
Don't forget that we are doing an iTunes giveaway. NPR voice at the beginning reminded you, but don't forget. Also, don't forget to... Oh, wait, now that ties in. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review to enter into the contest. Hold on, don't forget to subscribe.
And if you think we're doing a great
job, don't... Shit.
Which we're obviously not.
You can find us on Patreon. Keep it strange, lovelies.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Don't do drugs.
Don't.
Dare and all the...
What was Dare?
Dare to keep kids off drugs?
Oh, Dare was...
Bye, guys.
Welcome to the Spooky Scary Show. We are two friends in two different states who discuss all things spooky, scary, and just downright strange. We read news stories every week. If you would like to suggest a topic or submit a paranormal story, email us at spookyscaryshow@gmail.com and follow us on Instagram and Facebook for spooky facts and updates.
Hello, Ghosties and Pinky. How are ya?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing dandy. I gotta figure out a better, intro or greeting.
I know we say the same thing every time.
Yep, and I have been trying...
What's up?
Yeah. And I start every segment with a heavy sigh. You're like, so, how are you this week? And I'm like... Therapist Pinky, let me tell you some shit, okay?
I know. I've noticed that. I'm like, we say the same thing. We're always complaining.
Oh my god. Okay, so, Ghosties. My sister actually had her baby right after we got done recording. It was crazy, it was great, and the most embarrassing thing happened, and I've been dying to tell Pinky. So Pinky, Are you ready?
I'm ready. I want to know.
Okay. I had to hold this all week from you. Okay. See? Heavy sigh. Therapist Pinky. I hope you're ready.
See my chart.
Right? Okay. So, my brother, he's a bachelor. And as you ghosties may know, I am also single. Whatever. So, he's always had this joke. If he sees a super, you know where this is going, oh god. If you see a super hot person, nurse, woman, whatever, like you say, oh, there goes my future ex-wife, the way I take the joke is like, it's kind of like a stab at like, oh my gosh, they're so hot, I'm never gonna see them again, hence ex-wife or ex-husband, right? So, yo bitches, single, okay? And I'm ready. Not really ready to mingle, but I was like, I want to play the game. Josh, my brother, his name's Josh, was showing me around the hospital because it's huge and he works on hospitals as an IT guy, so he knows his way around. So I was like, oh, can you take me down to the lunchroom so I can get some lunch? And he's like, okay, great. We were kind of walking through and he made a comment, oh, there goes my future ex-wife or whatever. And so we're waiting in line, and this guy... He's like the security guard guy, but he has like the dog, right? So I was like losing my shit over the dog, and I'm like, how dare they put a cute little dog in front of me that I can't pet because, he's like a canine thing. So I was like, I don't know. He was like walking around us, and I don't know about you, but I always get super paranoid that I'm magically gonna have some weed in my pocket to like set the dog off.
I do the same thing. I was like, I would never.
I don't even, yeah, but so I was like kind of getting uncomfortable. I was like, oh fuck, like, and then I was like, no, chill out, you good. Anyways, so pay for our stuff, we go back up the elevator. So mind you, I saw a second ex-husband, okay? He was a buff nurse, and he was tattooed, and he was going into the surgery people area. I was like, okay, well, there goes my future ex-husband, whatever. I get back into my sister's room. They were resting, the baby was sleeping, but she was awake. Anyway, so I was like, Faith, I just saw my future ex-husband, and he has a dog, so I know he's a dog person, so it's gonna be great. Immediately, my brother-in-law was like, no, well, what does he look like? And he was like asking me all these questions, and I was like, oh, like, I don't know, I think he's about your height. My sister then proceeds to bring out her phone and bring up a picture of the dude. It was like, when you walk through hospitals, there'd be like a picture of like a doctor or like whatever, so you get to see the familiar faces. Of like who works. So it was like one of those employee pictures, and I was like, fuck, I think they actually know him. And I was like, oh, I don't know. So my brother walks over to check Faith's phone to look at the picture of the guy, and he's a very serious dude, and he's like, yep, that's him. And then all of a sudden, my brother-in-law was like, that's my best friend, and then my sister was like, oh, and then everybody was like making like a big deal about it and was like yelling, and my sister's like, hook it up, and I was like, no, please, I'm sorry, it was a joke, I shouldn't have ever said anything. And then they were all teasing me, and I was like, I'm never playing this game again. And it turns out my future ex-husband knows that he's my future ex-husband because they have told him, and I've met him before.
That's funny. That's so great.
Yeah.
Who is it?
I don't want to say it on here, but
why not?
I guess I've just met him at when we went out to Denim and Diamonds like a long time ago, but obviously I was with Charlie, so I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I thought that was going to be a lot worse, like you peeing your pants or something, not them knowing a guy. I'd be like, oh yeah, you know him? Okay, cool, I got the in.
No. Not ready. No, it's gonna be so embarrassing. Like, if I do see him, he's gonna be like, hey, I don't know. Like, this chick, you know, you want some fuck? And I'll be like, no, I'm sorry. What's your game?
You want some fuck? That's so funny.
You want some fuck?
Do you remember the guy that we, like, totally weirded out?
No.
I was just, like, extremely aggressive and, like, how you doing? And he was just like, what the actual fuck? We called him on Skype.
Alpha
and he was
female?
just like, yeah, he was just like, He was not into it at all. I was like, okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Sorry.
Oh, I can't believe you don't remember that. You called him with me.
Dude, back in the day, man, do you remember good old, what is it, Omegle?
Yes.
Or, like, Stickam?
Yes. Oh, we had so much fun on Stickam.
Yeah, just get drunk and
do the same thing
so
we're
many
doing.
Penises. Yeah. But
Minus
no
the penises. Well, the Stickam was cool because it was kind of like we were live on video and people could come join us.
Yeah, that was really fun. We should try, I don't know, maybe we can stream on Twitch or something.
Yeah,
we get ghosties.
They don't have anything fun like with the video chat like they did. Like, Stickam was the shit. I was so sad when it went down. Well,
They sigh.
anyway, nostalgia, old times. Me being aggressive. Michaela not being
Scaring
aggressive.
away them boys. I know. Passive. Wait, no. Passive aggressive is mean. I'm not passive. I don't know. Not here. I'm sorry. Anywhooser, what is our topic this week, Pinky?
This week we are talking about crime-solving critters. What is your story for us today, Dolly?
Mine is really cool because it's like science too. But the main guy, his name is Vincent Brothers, but it's one guy. So to me, when I was first reading it, I was like, the Vincent Brothers, but it's just a dude. I'll just call him Vincent to prevent any confusion. So, Vincent was 46 years old, and he lived in Bakersfield, California. Vincent had a great job as the vice principal at the Fremont School and had a adoring wife. Her name was Joni Harper. And they had three beautiful children, 4-year-old Marquise, 23-month-old Lindsay, and 6-week-old Marshall.
Jesus.
So babies.
Lots of babies.
Yeah. So it sounds like, a pretty average guy, right? Well, what makes Vincent different is the fact that he actually savagely murdered 5 members of his family, including his own innocent children, in cold blood.
Oh, God.
So the relationship with Vincent and Joni had not been without its share of troubles. Joni gave birth to Marquise Juan in 1998. Vincent was not present for his birth, and the two married in 2000. Despite separating a month later, Joni gave birth to Lindsay later that year. Vincent was again absent from that delivery.
Shitty.
The marriage was annulled in 2001, with Vincent citing irreconcilable differences and Joni citing fraud, allegedly because at the time of the marriage she had no knowledge of Vincent's 2 previous marriages. Despite all the ups and downs, family and friends all agree that Joni loved Vincent deeply and was eager for them to be a family, and they continue to have an on and off again relationship. Most people never knew about Vincent's Jekyll and Hyde personality, and those who did certainly never knew the extent of his capabilities. So, in January of 2003, Joni and Vincent remarried, and in May, baby Marshall was born. Although Vincent had moved out of the family's home in April due to the discord between he and his mother-in-law, Ernestine, He was present for Marshall's birth, and for a little while things seemed fine. On July 6, 2003, Joni, her mother Ernestine, and the 3 children attended church services. Although Vincent had left town 4 days prior to the family visit in Ohio, it was a special day, with Joni showing off Marshall to the church members for the first time. So she's like, here's my newborn baby. After morning services, the Harpers met up with friends, including Joni's best friend, Kelsey, for lunch, then went home to rest until evening services. However, they never made it to those evening services. After calls from friends and family went unanswered, Kelsey decided to stop by the house. She hadn't seen Joni since 2 days earlier, and it was unlike Joni to ignore her calls. Although the house looked fine from the outside, Kelsey found that the door wouldn't open after she used her key to unlock it. So she went around to the patio door and, finding it unlocked, let herself in. Her panicked call to 911 came in just after 7 a.m. Police arrived within minutes to find the house of horror. This is the content warning. If you have little children, you don't want to listen to this part, so probably skip like 20 seconds. First, police found Ernestine. She had been shot twice in the face at close range and was laying in the hallway near her bedroom. In another bedroom, police found the bodies of Joni and the children still laying in the same spots they had lain Sunday to nap after church. Joni was found face down on her bed, dead from several bullet and stab wounds to her head, chest, and back. Lindsay lay on her left side at the foot of the bed in her little blue dress. She had been killed with a single gunshot wound to the back. Marquise was beside the mother on the bed and was covered by a sheet. Police theorized that he had wakened before the murders. He was found with his eyes open and a gunshot wound to the right side of his head. He was like 24 months old.
That is
animal.
Terrible.
Sick. Authorities say he had been so frightened immediately before his death that he had bitten his right hand down to the bone. Fuck this guy. Marshall was thought to be missing, but after search, he was found under a pillow near his mother. He had been shot in the back, just as his sister had.
What the actual fuck?
Oh, yeah. So I guess Marshall was the little baby, but yeah.
Oh, Marshall was the baby. I was thinking Marquise,
Yeah.
but that was the older boy. That's so sad.
Oh, that's so fucked. Like, little baby.
Like,
I
why
can't
children?
Oh, we'll get to it. Fucking piece of stuff, let me tell ya. Police tracked down Vincent at his mother's home in North Carolina and broke the news about his family's murders. Although he was the only person suspected of the crime, he had left for vacation 4 days prior to the murders, and police couldn't immediately disprove his alibi. However, a neighbor in Bakersfield reported seeing Vincent near the Harper home around the time of the murders. Rental records for the car Vincent rented in Ohio showed that he put 5,400 miles on it, which was more than enough to travel from Ohio to California and back.
Jeez.
In addition, an entomologist who examined the car found bug parts from species only found west of the Rocky Mountains, although Vincent maintained he had never left the eastern part of the country. And this is where we kind of get into where critters solve crimes.
Yeah, science, bitch.
So this is the entomologist's story about her whole experience Yeah, so this is like her side of the story. So when 2 FBI agents and a Bakersfield detective hauled a radiator and an air filter, both splattered with insects, into UC Davis Bohart Museum of Entomology, so a bug museum, they were not there to contribute to the museum's 7 million insect collection. They wanted the museum director, Lynn Kimsey, a professor of entomology, to identify the insects and their geographical home for an upcoming mass murder trial. And this is what she said. She's a bad bitch. I saw it as a puzzle to be solved, Kimsey said, of the car parts embedded with several hundred insects. I've never heard of anyone doing this. In a recent telephone interview, Lisa Green, the deputy district attorney who prosecuted the case, described Kimsey as an excellent witness and extremely knowledgeable. From the prosecution's point of view, half of the battle is being able to have a witness knowledgeable in their field and the ability to explain that knowledge, Green said, noting that Kimsey is not only an expert in her field, but a teacher. She taught me about insects so I could understand the field and feel familiar enough to cross-examine their defense witness, Green added. Her help was invaluable. Kimsey described the experience as interesting but terrifying at the same time. I didn't know anything about the court case, she added. I couldn't even identify the defendant when I entered the courtroom. The insect evidence corroborated with the mileage on the vehicle, which had to have been driven west, Green said. Kimsey, one of the 137 witnesses called to testify in the internationally publicized case, told the court that several insect species picked from the car parts are only found in the West, and one was abundant in California. They included a large grasshopper, a paper wasp, and 2 true bugs. A true bug is a wingless or 4-winged insect in the order of Hemipteria?
Sure.
Yeah? Sure. Let's go with that. With mouth parts adapting for piercing and sucking.
Ooh.
Gross.
I know some people
the grasshopper.
like
Oh,
that. Just kidding.
like a mosquito. The grasshopper is found in the Great Plains and eastern slope of the Rockies. The paper wasp's territory is west of the 100th meridian, with California as its center of abundance. Kimsey pointed out during the trial. In addition, she had said that 2 true bugs are also found only in the West. Both are found in Southern California, Arizona, and Utah. Bitch! No, I'm just kidding. She recalled that when she and senior museum scientist Steve Hayden picked off the insects from the car parts, it took them 7 or 8 hours to do so.
Jesus.
This is crazy. And I quote, "We found no butterflies, no painted ladies, no sulfur butterflies. That indicated to us that the car wasn't driven during the day, but at night. The insects we found were consistent with the 2 major routes to get to California from the east," said Kimsey, adding that the court testimony revealed 4,500 unaccountable for miles on the rental car. Right? During her 5-hour testimony, illustrated with a PowerPoint presentation, hold up, 5 hours.
That's crazy. That's like a whole work day. She spent her whole work day talking about bugs on a car.
Bugs.
Oh, God.
Jesus. I would be asleep if I was the juror.
Right. Ugh.
The UC Davis entomologist showed the distribution of the insects on the U.S. map and compared insect photos from the car parts with the specimens from the Bohart Museum. So she's like, this is what this bug looks like, and this is what this bug looks like. Kimsey identified the large grasshopper by its leg, comparing the size, coloration, and markings to a specimen at the museum. She testified that the hind legs of the grasshopper help us identify the species. The size of the legs, red with black markings, indicated that the grasshopper measured close to 2 inches long. The jury seemed very interested in what I had to say, said Kimsey. I hope so. Following her testimony, the defense called 4 entomologists to counter her evidence. 3 from Purdue University and 1 from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. The defense tried to make a case that insects are easily distributed. Kimsey said they also questioned her expertise in diagnostics, systematics, fieldwork, and publications. But Green, the prosecutor, said it was evident that the defense witness did not have near the expertise or the credentials of Kimsey. She was, I guess a little background on Kimsey. She was trained by the world-renowned UC Davis entomologist Richard M. Bohart, who passed away earlier this year, who founded the Bohart Museum in 1946. So that's a little bit of her credentials. But going back to the case, one of Vincent's alibis was a pair of store receipts for items bought in North Carolina on the day of the murders. Upon examination of those credit card receipts and store surveillance, it was found that Vincent's brother, Melvin, had been using Vincent's card and forging his signature.
Oh, damn.
So he had people, his own family. Initially, Melvin lied when confronted about it, but later admitted that he had done so at Vincent's urging.
Bitch, this guy thought he was getting away with it for sure.
It's 100%. He's like, no.
It's like rock solid alibi. There's no way they'll figure this out. When in reality,
I wasn't here.
It's not that hard to figure out because he put the miles on that car.
Put the miles and the bugs. So it's like, I wouldn't even think to rip the radiator out and give it to someone and be like, hey, I need you to find bugs.
It's so smart.
It is. It's crazy. The prosecution alleged that Vincent had carried on several extramarital relationships and that his motives for the killings was greed. Vincent had wanted to relieve himself of the burden of supporting his growing family.
Jesus fucking Christ.
So, fuck you. Don't have kids. I hate you. I hate you so much. On May 15th, 2007, Vincent was found guilty of 5 counts of first-degree murder and a special circumstance of multiple murders, and on September 27th, he was sentenced to death by lethal injection by Judge Michael Bush.
Good job.
Yeah. Good fucking riddance.
So terrible.
Children.
Just because, he was tired of paying for them.
Jekyll and Hyde
don't pay for them then. You don't have to murder them. That's absolutely insane. I can't. Alright, so My story has a similar, like, DNA background stuff, but it's not bugs. It's called How Animal DNA Puts Killers Behind Bars. Dogs may be man's best friend, but they and other pets may also hold the keys to solving crimes against their human companions. Animal DNA now stands at the forefront of forensic science, in part because advanced testing and dog and cat databases are helping law enforcement catch criminals. In recent years, hair, blood, saliva, and other bodily fluids from dogs, cats, and birds have helped solve several violent crimes in the US and Canada, with 68% of American households owning a pet, which is 85 million families.
Dang.
Yeah, so there's a
lot of people.
For sure. A lot of people have pets. There's a lot of opportunity for animals to inadvertently be of assistance to criminal investigations.
I mean, I'm just saying, if I wind up dead, one of y'all better pull through. I mean, I got a dog.
They're definitely gonna have
a
cat hair and dog hair on them for sure.
Everywhere.
And people don't think of that shit, you know? Like, if you're thinking about murdering someone, well, it's like you don't want to leave your hair or your DNA behind, but, like, also you can't pick up anybody else's pet DNA.
Anything, really. It's crazy. Like, the tiniest little skin cell that you can get if you scratch someone, you know.
You get caught.
That'll solve your crime. Just scratch them.
They say that
Anyways.
you should try to get DNA under your fingernails and shit if you can.
Mm-hmm.
A&E Real Crime Profiles 4 instances where animal evidence helped solve a violent crime and put a killer behind bars. The Heroic Cockatoo, the murder of Kevin Butler. On Christmas Eve, 2001, in the Pleasant Grove section of Dallas, Texas, Johnny Cerna and Daniel Torres broke into the apartment of Kevin Butler in a hunt for valuables after a long-running dispute with Butler over money. During a knife struggle among the men, Butler's white-crested cockatoo, a bird named after basketball great Larry Bird, swooped down on the perpetrators, pecking their head and hands. Unfortunately...
That's right, you get him.
Right. Go, cockatoo!
Go get him, get him!
Unfortunately, despite the bird's heroic efforts, Butler was stabbed to death and the killers escaped. Police found Bird's lifeless, featherless body at the apartment. The cockatoo had been stabbed with a fork.
That's so fucked. It's not even a knife.
Yeah.
You couldn't even just... Oh, I hate it.
Poor buddy.
I know, and the fork just pop.
Yeah. While protecting his owner and ultimately sacrificing his own life, Bird helped convict the killers. Investigators found Daniel Torres' DNA on a light switch at Butler's home after being pecked in the head by the bird. Torres touched his wound and then touched the switch, leaving behind the valuable evidence. DNA evidence was also found on the cockatoo's beak and claws and on the bloody knives found at the scene. Torres was convicted of capital murder and sentenced to life in prison. Cerna was also sentenced to life in prison for his role in the murder. When there is an animal case involving an atypical species such as a bird, turtle, or even camels, forensic scientists have the flexibility, unlike human DNA specialists, to develop special tests or analysis to pinpoint evidence, says Christina Lindquist, Director of Forensics at University of California, Davis Veterinary Genetics Laboratory, the only accredited DNA animal forensic lab in the U.S. As animal scientists, we never know what's going to come in, but because we can develop analysis in-house, we can provide strong and interesting clues to law enforcement, says Lindquist. So that was that one. I have a bunch of, like, little blurbs.
I like it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's interesting that they can, that it's different for human DNA, like what she said.
Yeah, that's true. And just, like, I still can't get over the fact that he pecked the guy and then pecked the light switch and then smeared probably, like, the tiniest little boop amount. And they're like, oop, got him.
The bird pecked the guy in the head, and the guy touched his head. And then he touched the light switch.
Oh,
so he left, like, blood. He left his DNA because he got pecked.
Idiot. Gotcha.
This one is The Cat Convicts. The Murder of Shirley Dugway. When mother of 5, Shirley Dugway, vanished without a trace from her Prince Edward Island home in October 1994, police suspected her common-law husband, Douglas Beamish, whom she had left 2 years prior. Friends and neighbors told investigators about the couple's brutal 12-year relationship and Beamish's violent past, which included stints in prison.
Oh, that's so sad.
But the police were stumped because they had nothing to connect Beamish with the crime. 3 days later, during a massive manhunt of the island, investigators found a bag that contained a jacket and shoes stained with Dugway's blood. Tests revealed Beamish had the same shoe size and the soles had been worn in such a way that was consistent with his gait, but still nothing conclusive for the crime. Yet, tucked away inside the jacket lining were 20 white cat hairs. The evidence might have gotten lost in the shuffle, except for the work of one policeman, Constable Roger Savoy. He noticed a white cat, Snowball, at Beamish's house during an earlier interview. Convinced there was a connection against